In the Heart of the Word, Reflections by Father Joseph Mary, SCTJM, on the daily readings from the Holy Mass. Tuesday of the 6th week of Ordinary Time. Memorial of Saint Cyril, monk, and Methodius, bishop.
God bless you, dear family. Today in the Heart of the Word, the disciples had forgotten to bring bread with them on the boat. Jesus warns them, "Beware the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod." The disciples thought Jesus was speaking about regular bread. Then he asked them 7 questions. Remember that 7 is the number of perfection or fullness in the Scriptures. In the questions, Jesus asked them why their hearts are hardened, why they don't understand, why they cannot see what is right before them. Finally, Jesus asked about the 2 times he multiplied the bread for the crowds. Do you not remember when I broke the loaves for the 5,000, how many wicker baskets full of fragments there were? And the disciples reply, 12. Jesus continues, or when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many full baskets of fragments there were? And the disciples reply, 7. Jesus says, do you still not understand? Now, the leaven is what gives life or strength to bread. The leaven of the Pharisees is self-righteousness. The leaven of Herod is worldly power. What is Jesus warning us about, and what is Jesus telling us? In John chapter 6, Jesus will proclaim, I am the bread of life, and the bread that I will give is my flesh for the life of the world. Anyone who eats this bread will live forever. If you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you will have eternal life. At the Last Supper, Jesus takes the bread and blesses it, and gives it to his disciples, saying, this is my body given up for you. Jesus is the bread of life. The Holy Eucharist is Jesus, body and blood, soul and divinity, and Jesus is also the leaven. When we receive the Eucharist at Holy Mass, the Lord gives us His love and His strength, His life and His heavenly power. Jesus in the Eucharist is the bread of life, and Jesus in us is leaven for our lives to become living bread for others. Let us listen to these words of Mother Adela. The Eucharist is the greatest expression of love. God freely chose to give the totality of Himself, body, blood, soul, and divinity, through the institution of the Holy Eucharist. May we become witnesses and missionaries of love to the extreme, love that is totally given for the good of the beloved, receiving the bread of life in the Eucharist so that we may become leaven for others. All for the heart of Jesus, through the heart of Mary.